experienced players. You know, when you have 4 or 5 guys on a team that have been to the big dance the last couple of years, even if they didn't win, man, it makes a big difference, because I learn a lot from my mistakes, a lot more from my mistakes than I do from my successes. And a team knows they've been bounced from the big tournament, early because of mistakes they made, adjustments they didn't do, coaches didn't see what they should see, didn't act fast enough. And they learn from their mistakes. Now, to take this with a grain of salt, you also have to have talent. You're not going to accomplish much against a superior team, no matter how smart you are, either at the coaching level or the experience level for the players. So you have to know, if you have enough talent to make it work. Now, theoretically, the odds makers are making the lines based on what happened this year, and if you know you have an experienced coach and an experienced team, all you're looking for is a little edge, a very small edge to cover the spread. So that may be a big enough difference that if you're taking a 14 in a game and, you really know that the game should probably, because you have a coaching edge or a senior coach with senior players, maybe you can get away with a 10 or an 11. So you got at least a little 3-point value bet there, and that's going to make a big difference in the long run. So if it takes a lot of work to do all this stuff. This stuff doesn't just happen. It's not metamorphosis. You lay your head on the pillow at night and you wake up smarter. You got to do the work. You got to put in the hours, which is what I do, and all the handicappers that are worth it. Crap. That's what they do. A lot of guys that are handicappers don't bet their money. And I've never quite understood how they can tell people who to bet on when they don't bet themselves. Well, I guarantee you, myself and a lot of the associates that I have are betting their own money. And they respect their own opinion, and they back it with a few greens. Okay, we're going to move on to some fundamentals things to look at. We all know offense, defense, rebounding, turnovers, free throw shooting, field goal shooting percentages, three-point shooting defense, three-point shooting offense. These are all very, very important. This is a hodgepodge of information to go through, analyze, and decipher. Personally, in this pod of analysis, I look mostly at inside defense. That means the internal defense, not the three-point defense, but the two-point defense. Can they protect the middle? And off of that, how well do they rebound the missed shots? That's very important. Then, of course, at the other end of the court, how do we do in our offense? Do we penetrate? Do we get free throws? Do we make the free throws at critical times? Because if you're laying 6 and you're ahead and they're fouling you and you're missing your free throws, you're not going to cover. And that is a disaster for me and everybody else that blows those kind of leads because they just can't make a damn free throw under pressure. It's very, very frustrating. So offensively, you will have bad nights. That just comes with the territory. Defensively, much less so. And I find it inexcusable to have a bad night defensively. There is no reason why you can't box out, why you can't get in somebody's face, why you can't stop the three-pointer by extending when you know you have a player that's hitting. There's no reason, unless, of course, maybe you're playing 4 games in 4 days like Syracuse just had to do, and then they faced Louisville, and then they had a nice big lead, and they fell apart at the end of that game and got crushed by Louisville for no other reason that they were playing their 4th game in 4 days under pressure-packed conditions against good teams, and they totally collapsed. That's one of the flaws of the tournament. So look for teams that are potentially tired and not very deep. Syracuse is not very deep. So it really will cost you. I thought they'd fall apart against Georgetown the game before because they were playing 3 games in 3 days. It just didn't happen that way. It almost did, though, because they were ahead the whole game. Georgetown caught them at the end, went into overtime, but they still had enough to win that game. But it absolutely caught up with them against Louisville. So I do look at that. Defensively and offensively, you can fall apart if you're tired. So, and that happens in the pros too. So, that's where they say 4 games in 5 nights or 3 games in 4 nights, especially if you're on the road. It makes a big difference.